Hi everybody, it's Barbara. Thanks for joining me. So it became apparent when I did my last video on audition tips that I needed to make a second one. And today we're going to finish that whole idea of giving you the best of my tips for auditions by looking at the director. So we're going to talk about a couple of key things about what the director actually might think, and then we're going to talk about what they're looking for. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the director's vision. And the reason I want to talk about it is it has nothing to do with your audition from your perspective. So let me explain what I mean about that. As an example, let's say that it's an historical piece that you're auditioning for. It's a Shakespeare comedy like As You Like It or Much Ado About Nothing. And let's say you know something about those plays. You've seen them, or maybe even you've been in one of them or two of them, and you have a pretty good idea of what that show is like. So you're kind of tailoring your audition towards that, which I would do. And you're thinking, well, I'll kind of bring a little bit of my side of the personality of one of the characters to my audition. And that's all well and good. But you have no idea what the director is thinking in terms of their vision. They could be doing Much Ado About Nothing on motorcycles and set in the 1950s. You have no idea. So there's no point in really worrying about it because you can't control it and you don't know what's in the director's head. You don't know what type they're looking for because you don't know what they're going to do with the play. They could be cross-casting it for all you know, or double casting it in some way. They could be working against the race that's in the play, or the age group even. You don't know what they're going to do because the beautiful thing about theater is it's an artistic interpretation. So my point in all this is you don't really know what the director's vision is. And so there's no point in stressing about it or worrying about it or trying to fit yourself into a specific mold because you don't know what they're planning to do with it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you may not know this, but directors already like you. So when I hear actors saying, oh God, they're not going to like me, I want to say, wait a second, that's ridiculous. Put your mind in the place of the director. You've been sitting in a room for hours, or maybe even days, or over the weekend. And what are you doing in that room? You're looking for the right people for the roles. So every single time somebody walks into that room, you're thinking, oh God, I hope this is the one. I know that's what I'm doing. I can't imagine a director would sit there and say, well, I hope they suck. That's not going to happen. Every time we audition someone, we hope that they're the right person, that we hope that they're the right fit. We want to like you already. Now, in the community theater world, it's even more so because it's a community. And so, of course, we like you. Of course, we're excited to see you. You're part of our community and you're out here like working on it and doing your best and giving your best audition. And even if you screw it up, even if you do a lousy audition, probably the director's not thinking, oh my God, that was the worst audition I've ever seen. They're probably thinking, good for them for giving it a try. Oh God, that was hard on them. That was a tough one for them. I hope they're doing okay. I hope they do better next time. Maybe I'd like to call them back and see if they can give them another shot. Something like that. We are going to be filled with good feelings for you. We already like you before you've walked in the room is what I'm trying to say. And because we already like you before you've even walked into the room, you have to do something actively to screw that up, to make us not like you. So if you're prepared, if you walk into that room and you've read the play and you've done the homework that we talked about in the last video, and you have worked the moments in your monologue and you've done your best, and you walk in the room with confidence, and you're somebody who is pleasant to talk to and to work with, and you're acting professionally, I mean, of course we're going to like you. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to trip over your monologue, or you're going to forget a line, or you're going to miss some moments and not real, you just didn't nail it. Who cares? Big deal. I mean, this is art, right? This is not perfection. This is you out there doing a piece of art. And art is good, and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it's somewhere in between. It's all play. That's why they call it a play. So don't worry about us not liking you. Don't worry about, oh, what happens if I mess up? Will they not like me? Just don't worry about any of that stuff, because we already like you. We want you to be the one. So don't worry about it. We're already cheering for you. So the next thing I want to say is probably the briefest, which is what our director's looking for. And really, in community theater, we're only looking for like 4 or 5 basic things, plus one other thing that you can work towards that I'll talk about after. So those 4 or 5 different things are, do they have some acting chops? Like physically, vocally, do they know how to play action? Are they at least working on it and getting better? Do they have some idea what this job of acting actually is? Can they be seen and heard? That's kind of important. Are they good people to work with? Do they want to be here? Do I want to work with them? And can they actually show up? In other words, do their schedules match with the rehearsal schedule? So honestly, it's, can they do the job? Do they have some acting skills or are working on it? Are they great people? Do they want to actually do this? Are they somebody that I want to do it with? And do they have the time to do it? Those are really the things that we care about in order to cast somebody in community theater. The final thing that I want to say is a little bit more difficult. It's something that you can work towards, because I know that in the professional world, what directors want to see, honestly, is like 10 seconds of truth, 10 seconds of honesty, 10 seconds of honest human connection. And I don't mean a connection to me as the director, I mean a connection with their own humanity. A lot of times, community theater directors don't even know that that's what they're looking for. What do I mean by that? Well, what are we looking for? We're looking for what you're looking for, what the actors are looking for. We want to move our audience, right? We want to get them to think deeply. We want to move them to laughter. We want to move them to tears. We want them feeling nostalgic. We want them to get up on their feet and cheer. We want to move our audience. The way to move an audience as an actor is to have them moved through you. If you can move yourself, then you can express that and we can share it as an audience. We're talking about a shared human experience anytime we're on stage. That's what we're looking for. That's the job. The actor's job is to share moments of human experience, truthful moments of human experience with an audience. That's the actor's job, fundamentally. So in order to do that, actors do what their job is to get there. They play action. They don't slap on a happy face or a sad face, or these are my fake tears, or this is what I look like when I'm angry. We don't play attitude and things like that. We play action. We fight for what we want, which is what we do in life, because that is what we do. However, underneath all that is a river of emotion. Underneath all that is our emotional life that drives us to want those things, to fight for those things. We want a great job because we want to provide for our family because we love them, right? There are reasons that we do things. But we can't play the reason that we do things on stage. It's not really playable. What's playable is action, is fighting for what we want. Because we have a shared human experience, we all understand what that is. We understand what it's like to feel to fall in love, to be afraid, to feel shame or guilt, or to confess something that we've always wanted to say. We understand what those things feel like because we're all human, unless we're psychopathic. The rest of us all understand what that's like. So what we're doing is we're watching, as an audience, we're watching the people fight for those things because we have those feelings. Now, as an actor, all we can do is fight for it. The actual feelings are there, but they're like a byproduct. They're like something that comes as a reaction to whether we get or don't get what we're fighting for. So if we're fighting for something because we love somebody or we love ourselves, we're fighting for something and we get it, we feel a certain thing, and it comes as a product, as a reaction to our achievements. Or if we don't get something, the same thing. We feel a certain way because it's a reaction to getting what we want or not getting what we want. So all we can play is action, but there are moments when an actor can, with control, really touch that emotional center, that river that's underneath it all. An actor can have the courage and the experience and the acting chops, just the years put into acting, in order to let their guard down, in order to be truly vulnerable to that emotion. Not slapping on a sad face, but actually finding that place where I've been fighting for something so hard and it's slipped away from me. And being able to touch that feeling of vulnerability, that fear, or that elation, or that out of control or seemingly out of control rage, or lust, or whatever it is. The actors can learn how to touch that in a controlled way, but that's a human, truthful, genuine, honest way. So I don't want to scare you off, but this is something that you can work towards, is just that always playing action, always knowing that that is your job, but at some point, allowing yourself to really actually touch the real human being inside of you, so that the audience and the director can connect with that and feel it in themselves, is what the goal of good acting actually is. But you only get there by being truthful and being honest and playing action, fighting for what you want. Now that was more of a mini acting class than some audition tips, but I just want to put that out there. Don't worry about it right now if you've never had that happen or you're just starting out. It's okay. Like I said, a lot of community theater directors don't know that that's actually what they're looking for. They just feel something that's moving and they don't understand exactly why it is, because a lot of directors aren't quite sure what this acting job really is. Listen, there's some great directors out there. I don't mean to say there's not, but I do also know that directors come up through the ranks having been actors in the community theater, and if they weren't taught what acting really is, by the time they become a director, they don't know either. And it's an honest thing. It's not, they're not, willfully ignorant. They just haven't been taught. And so what I'm here to do, and my mission, is to help actors and directors learn what professionals have been trained to do. So let me just back up, because this got pretty real and pretty serious pretty quickly. So your job is to connect with the audience, and a way to do that is to play action, because that's what we do. We fight for the things that we want every day. And then as you do that more and more, you can learn how to safely and in control touch the core of humanity within you, so that you can share that with your audience. That brings you 10 or 15 seconds of truth in your monologue somewhere, and maybe even more. Wouldn't that be great? But that's one of the things that I think directors look for, whether they know it or not. That's enough for today. So I'm going off on vacation for 4 or 5 days. We're going to go see some family. It will be next week, probably mid or late week, before I put out some more videos, but I will. And I thank you for your patience with that. And in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you soon.